This is unheard of. It's 300%, 3x higher than current standard of care. We're also extending life significantly, right? Besides the tumor remissions. The data is incredible. I think God's hands are on this drug. I believe that as we increase our sample size, the data is only going to get better and better and better.
Welcome to The Upside with Lou Basenese. Cancers of the central nervous system are notoriously difficult to treat and very aggressive. And it's not because we don't have drugs that might be able to do it. It's because of a biological impediment, breaking the blood-brain barrier. But the good news is we are making progress on that front. I'm fortunate today to be joined by the CEO of one such company, Amir Heshmathpur from NeOnc Technologies. Welcome, Amir.
Hi, Lou. How are you?
Good. Good to have you here on The Upside. A quick question for you. What's the big breakthrough that NeOnc has really uncovered?
The big breakthrough, Lou, is the intranasal delivery. We're able to deliver the drugs via intranasal delivery through a nebulizer.
Okay, so it's like an inhaler that just comes over the nose.
You bypass the blood-brain barrier, which has been the difficult thing to do.
Is there any other drugs out there right now that are being delivered via this mechanism?
We're the first company that's delivering the drug for brain cancer via intranasal delivery. We're the first mover in the field. We have 179 patents worldwide. It's a very large moat around the patent portfolio. And it's the intranasal delivery is the novel way of delivering.
How did you come about? So what's your background and where did this technology come from? Because if 179 patents, that's very foundational, unique, could have a lot of upside, but what's the origin story?
My background is finance. I've been involved in many public companies, bought assets through major universities and restructured them, recapitalized them, and took them public. This particular asset came to my attention about 3.5 years ago through a bank. They introduced me to my partner, Dr. Thomas Chin. He's currently a neurosurgeon at the USC King Medical School and hospital. He's the professor of neuro-oncology and also runs the transitional labs, his PhD in overlooks all the brain cancer development.
So is he a practitioner too? I mean, is he actually doing operations now as well?
And he does operations Wednesdays and Fridays.
Wow, amazing.
35 years at it.
And you said this has a personal connection for you too, because you had a family member or a close family member that had brain cancer?
My wife's brother had brain cancer. He passed away at the age of 6. It took about 6 months from the time he was diagnosed to the time he passed away. So I felt that I have a calling to run this one myself. I usually don't run them myself. I put my board of directors and say on management in these assets I purchased. This one I'm running as the executive chairman, president, and CEO of the company.
Yeah, so much more personal. That story brings out just a commonality too with most brain cancers, right? It's very aggressive. It usually, the survival rates are very low and it's very quick where the disease takes over. What are you seeing in the most recent developments and some of the indications that you're studying the company's drugs with?
Well, just this morning, pre-market, we announced that we're seeing 24% of our sample size seeing total tumor remission.
So complete remission.
Complete remission, right?
After what period of time?
After 6 months of being on our treatment. So they have to be on our treatment for 6 months, and this is unheard of. It's 300%, 3x higher than current standard of care. And we're also extending life significantly, right, besides the tumor remission. So FDA is going to look at us. They know the drug's safe. This is a open study. Unfortunately, the people that were enrolling in our trial are grade 4 and grade 3.
So they've tried other therapies,
they've tried
very
everything.
resistant, it's been recurrent.
Yeah, it's recurrent. They come onto our trial. We were only enrolling grade 4. The science was doing really well. The data looked really well. We went to FDA and showed them the data. They allowed us to enroll grade 3 IDH1 mutated in patients. In grade 4, there's only 10% IDH1 mutant. In grade 3, there's about 50%.
So it opened up potentially more patients that you can treat.
And so we have we're fully enrolled. If no one drops out of our study here, we should have a readout in the next 6 months for our lead asset, for our 2A NeO100 asset. And we'll have a readout of our NeO212 asset in the next 50, 60 days.
And the NeO212, that's an oral drug that is taken in combination with what the standard chemotherapy?
Correct. So what we did was we took Merck as a drug that went off patent called temozolomide, Temodor TMZ. That drug went off patent, so we took it and we bioconjugated it with our NeO100 in oral form. That happened to be 300% more effective with much less toxicity. And we had to enroll 5 cohorts, 3 patients in each cohort. And we haven't hit toxicity yet, and we're in cohort 5. And
so 15 patients in.
15 patients and no toxicity yet.
And this is, so I mean, again, just to make sure I'm understanding it correctly, you're extending survival meaningfully. I think you're significantly out to 18 months.
18 months.
And the standard is what, maybe
6 to 8 months.
6 to 8 months. You're seeing tumor regression in a meaningful population of patients.
Of our, as of today, 24.
And then doing it with much less toxicity, so quality of life for the patients. Let's talk about that. What's the anecdotal evidence that you're seeing in the clinic that the drugs are working? You know, you talked about compassionate use for from adolescents.
Just the data. The data speaks loud. Data's king, right?
Yeah.
The data is incredible. I think God's hands on this drug. And I believe that as we increase our sample size, the data is only going to get better and better and better. We're seeing that under our compassionate use cases. We're going to start the pediatric program here shortly. We already have under compassionate use. We're supposed to enroll, FDA has asked us to enroll 6 people for the compassionate use. We already have 5 people in the compassionate use for a pediatric program.
So recruitment's not difficult. You're finding patients.
Recruitment isn't difficult. We're expanding our clinical sites. We're going to open up NYU Langone, Harvard, Penn State. We're also expanding in Middle East through GCC with Iris and M42 in Cleveland Clinic. And then we will start in India shortly after that. Our partners in Middle East have the first right of refusal for India as well.
Yeah, you said data is king here in biotech, and that's always the case. It sounds like you're going to have a lot more data or patients that are being treated with the drug. But when's the next catalyst? When's the next data readout that you're expecting for investors?
Our NeO100 should read out in 6 months.
Okay. That's
our phase 2A readout. And as you're seeing, the Biotech's finally getting some wind in the sail. I think with that readout, we should our price should reflect significantly higher. And analysts really understand the NeO212, even though it's I think NeO100 is the novel in our nasal delivery, and we're bypassing the blood-brain barrier. But analysts seem to like the 212 side of things with the TMZ.
So you have coverage from analysts already?
Not yet. We've been talking to a lot of analysts. We got put into the Russell. I went public March 26th of 2025. Shortly after that, we got into the Russell.
Yeah, so you went public right before Liberation Day, essentially.
Right before. It was one of the worst days to go public, March 26th.
Yeah, that's a tough sledding, but you've done well in spite of that.
But it's a good, 26 is a good number in Judaism, so it's, we'll see.
Yeah. So talk to me a little bit. You've got a readout in the next 6 months. Let's talk a little bit more about the technology, because it seems like you spun this technology at a USC. You went from no drugs to 4 drugs. Is there a potential to keep expanding that pipeline of potential drugs?
So when I bought the company, I had one, NeO100 was the only drug in clinical trials. We've expanded to 4, 3 in phase 2. The 212 will start phase 2 here shortly, so 3 in phase 2, and then the pediatric in phase 1. The focus has been brain cancer because of Dr. Chin's expertise, right?
Okay.
He's a neurosurgeon, professor of neuro-oncology, PhD, and so he's the brainchild of the technology. He's an amazing person. But our delivery, our pipeline to the brain, bypassing the blood-brain barrier, is a game changer.
Yeah.
Down the road, with
is that something you could license out, the platform, the delivery system, or
we've looked at it in preclinical studies. We've taken there's a drug called L-Dopa for Parkinson's. It's the standard of care for Parkinson's. We've taken that in animal studies and shown we could deliver it much better to the brain, bypassing the blood-brain barrier. So as we grow up, or as our market cap expands, we raise more capital, execute, deliver what investors want to see, de-risk the current platform. I think we will expand into other CNS diseases with our delivery mechanism.
Yeah, so let's talk about some of the results you're seeing. You think it is a function of the delivery mechanism. So why is that? Going neonasal versus the typical, digestive oral administration route. What are you seeing in terms of, practical terms? You're delivering more drug on target, requiring less of the chemotherapy. What's the mix that's leading to the more beneficial results?
What we're doing is we're bypassing the blood-brain barrier through the first and fifth cranial nerves, and it's precision medicine.
Okay.
Right. It's precision medicine directly into the tumor.
So it's infiltrating the tumors, which is a key,
the tumor. It's the
key development, right?
You're going from the nasal into the brain, shorter distance, bypassing the blood-brain barrier, and that's been the challenge to CNS diseases, to being able to get it through the blood-brain barrier, because it's the protector of trying to get things through to the brain. Having said that, taking TMZ orally, it's a very toxic drug. By the time it gets to the brain through orally, only a very small percentage of it gets up there. So I think the intranasal delivery is going to be the holy grail for CNS diseases for years to come.
And you'll see the data continue to mature. And
the data's getting better and better. We bought an AI company.
Interesting. So you have an AI overlay on this.
How
are you using AI?
Overlay. So we bought a technology it's a 3D printing with AI and quantum modeling. I bought the technology from McMaster, all the IP. It's IP protected. We're able to print our own spheres, humanoid cancer tumors. And instead of running preclinical animal studies, we could run 6,000 studies in 48 hours.
So when you say print, you're not talking about printing a physical, you're talking about printing a biological
actual humanoid cancer tumor.
So that you can test and administer.
We're the only ones that have that technology. I bought that.
Is the market aware of this? Because I look
market's not really aware of it.
I look at a sub $200 million market cap company, and you have something like that alone could be worth it.
Market's not aware of it. We've stayed off the radar. I raised all the capital pretty much myself, 95% of it myself. We raised about $70 million between the private placement that I raised at 16, the line of credit that I anchored to provide for the company, and the ELOC. We've been very cash efficient. I don't want to tap into the ELOC too much.
So trying to minimize dilution
because ELOCs, you give them the shares from the front door, they sell it from the back door, give you your money, and it doesn't help the share price, but it is a form of capital. So with the Middle East financing, I'll probably do a secondary sometime in the first quarter of this year. We've been interviewing banks, BTIG and some other banks, and so we're well financed going into the end of the year.
And you're being more outspoken about what the company has, and that's, I would assume, largely because the data continues to mature. So from your vantage point, what's the next de-risking, right? So you've gotten to the point where the drug's safe, you're advancing in clinical trials, you're getting those acknowledgments where it's much better. What's the nenext de-risking moment for the company?
So the Trump administration has a new program, the Priority Voucher Program. We filed that. We're getting all the lead assets. We're getting them commercialization ready. We feel that we have a very good chance of getting that voucher. And I think by the time we're done with the phase 2A readout with the fast track designation and the priority voucher, we have a 50-50 chance of
going right to registration.
Right to registration with the data.
Yeah.
Data is king. Our data speaks for itself. We filed an 8K and updated it this morning. So
again, let's put that in just for people that might be unfamiliar with the timelines. If you get a readout, phase 2 readout in the next 6 months.
6 months.
And then another, if you can go right to registration, it's maybe another 6 to 9 months and the drugs could be in the market?
That's right.
We're looking at a 2027 first half potential. Again, all things have to go in the right way.
Correct.
Which is a lot sooner than most biotechs. We look at like phase 1.
We've been executing.
Yeah.
We've been, we didn't, do a direct listing by accident.
Yeah.
We didn't get into the Russell by accident. There's a reason things are happening. We're executing. And I think you'll just see that where more and more people are, big institutions
Paying
are
attention.
attention to us. And I think it's going to be just a matter of time, not in a very short time, you're going to see the stock really take off. We're way undervalued. I went out at $580 million market cap, typical pullback. But I think with the readout, you should see a significant upside to the stock from where we are currently.
I agree with you looking at it, right? I mean, to put a fine point on it, the shares I think traded as high as 25 post IPO in the beginning of 2025. What do you see? What keeps you up at night? What are the risks that you see? So it's execution risk, which all that rests with you and clinicians, right? But then what are the other risks here? I mean, outside the data just maturing in line where it's at.
What keeps me up at night is not getting this out to all the families fast enough.
Yeah.
You know,
how are the ways to accelerate it then? Is it compassionate use? I mean, the programs you apply to?
I think compassionate use. I think Trump administration with this priority voucher.
Yeah.
I think President Trump learned a lot through the COVID history and what they went through. And I think this priority voucher for drugs that had a huge unmet need with the data that we're reporting should be looked at very carefully with the administration and FDA for them to expedite the approval process. Yeah. The drug's been very safe. This is a
and that's the key from the consideration from the FDA standpoint, right? They want to make sure.
Brain cancer drugs are extremely toxic.
Yeah.
This is intranasal delivery, the comfort of your home. You are using a nebulizer 20 minutes a day, 4 times a day. At the comfort of your home, and it's
so
working.
No long IVs, no
IVs, no chemo, no radiation.
Are you seeing that with the patients that are on drug, that their quality of life is better than if they were just on the standard of care, which is just chemotherapy? I mean, do you have any anecdotal?
The quality of life is night and day.
Yeah.
Compared to chemotherapy, we were on Dr. Drew's show not too long ago. We had a patient there that she was sent home to pass away. She came on our drug. She had went through 2 surgeries. Nothing had worked. Her sister was a scientist. She had found out about us, recommended her. She met our criteria. She's been on our drug for 4 years.
Wow.
Yeah, and
the expectations based on the data, she should have been deceased after 6. Yeah.
Deceased.
Yeah.
I mean, I could tell you a few stories like this, but we have another patient that she was sent home to a hospice to die. 4 years later, she's still at a hospice. And I just found that, and I'm like, why is she still at a hospice?
Yeah.
And so we have many stories like this. And you know, with 24% of our sample size, that's unheard of. I mean, current standard of care, you'd be lucky if you get 6 to 8%.
Right.
Right. We're 300% above that.
Yeah, 400% above that. What's the competition? I mean, is the competition really just the standard of care?
Competition is the standard of care.
Yeah. So it's just very toxic drugs that don't extend life.
Unfortunately, the sector's growing.
Right.
At a double-digit year-over-year growth. And we believe that we will be the standard of care.
And this is a real treatment, right? Because the standard of care right now, the chemotherapies are really just managing the symptoms as best as possible. Right? They're not providing any relief of the disease.
No. This is prolonging life and hopefully curing brain cancer.
Yeah.
Hopefully.
Well, I always end it with this. You know, I think you mentioned a little bit before, but let's put a fine point on it. What do you think the upside here is if you're successful in executing, if the data continues to come in as well as it has, and the market continues to be cooperative with valuing biotech? You
know, you're seeing oncology assets trade with data trade up 4, 5, 6x. If we trade up mid-range, we should be about $1.2 to $1.5 billion market cap.
So at least,
and we'll be still under our peers, to be honest with you. For a company that's showing 24% total radiographic remission, what is that company worth?
Yeah. Compared to everyone else,
compared to
showing
everyone
6 to 8.
Yeah. Just TMZ I think brings in off patent about $4 billion a year, $3.5 billion a year. and patented TMZ, NeO212. I believe we will be the standard of care. I think this company could be $8 to $10 billion company.
Wow. And then that 4 billion number that you use for TMZ, where would your drug, I know you haven't gotten into pricing, but would it be similar or comparable pricing so that the market size is just as big?
Yeah, I think probably even a little higher because patented technology gets a little bit more premium to it, and especially patented technology that's less toxic, safer. So yeah, I think the run rate.
Well, listen, I'd love to have you back and talk about the updates and hear more of the good data as it comes out. So I thank you for your time today.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
Take care.